We set out to build a business that was centered around primary care physicians. We really saw the need for people that didn't want to be employed by hospitals, by insurance companies, or even multi-specialty groups, and wanted to be in charge of their own destiny. So in 2008, when we had the opportunity to do so, we did. And we've stayed focused on those parameters very, very much so. So still primary care driven. We have added some specialists these days, but the core of the business is still about primary care and giving them the ability to survive away from the institutions. And we've been successful at that.
What does Millennium provide is the support systems wrap around the doctor to bring us closer together to the most important part, taking care of the patient. Everything else that does not need direct doctor intervention can be, in a way, helped by somebody else other than the physician. So the ability to be in a group and then by virtue of that, be able to put together things that help us and support us in the things that are not necessarily medical input needed, but they yet have to be done. So the payers are requiring more things day to day. They are asking for more metrics. They are more complexities. That's not necessarily what provide the best care, but it has to be done. Somebody has to do it. So where does Millennium come in, among other things, is in providing those services that will make our quality of life and our interaction with the patient much better.
What prospective physicians should really know is that all we need them to do is come to the office and see patients and practice medicine. Everything else is taken care of. We'll run the business, we'll work with them on the strategic side, we'll take care of the employees, we'll take care of pensions, we'll take care of all the things that typically have to be done by the physician so they actually get more time to practice medicine.
During my interview, which was a very comfortable interview with my direct boss and CEO of the company, actually. I had a lot of questions. They had a few questions. And when we talked about patient care, I was not asked or given a list of what to do, but I was actually asked in which way I wanted to practice, and that my practice would run the way that I would want it to run. So I would be as extremely busy as I wanted to, or as comfortably busy as I wanted to. And that was a big plus for me, because having the time to talk to a patient is very important. And being in a setting where you're under pressure, knowing you have to see a patient every 15 minutes, it decreases the level of care for the patient. You know, you're not able to communicate, you're not able to ask the right questions and to hear the right answers also. And most of the time the patient has the answer, you know, to what we're trying to figure out. We just put it together, you know. So I was very pleased to know that I was going to be able to design the way that I wanted to practice. Mm-hmm.
And how's it going?
It's wonderful. It's the job that I always wanted.
I think the only way you get good physician engagement is by allowing them to practice medicine. So by doing that, we have really given the doctors a place to hang their hat and see patients. When you look at our physician engagement scores, we're also running in the 98th percentile plus. It's actually the 95th percentile. And on the other side of it, you look at the physician turnover, which in our organization is less than 5% a year. And that's very, very low by most standards. I also think that most physicians that join us actually look at us very, very carefully. They're not looking for a job, they're looking for a partnership. And we allow them that without the typical upfront cost of a partnership.
Joining Millennium would be joining a big family, okay? Which is the way that I feel in my office. It would offer physician individuality when it comes to the way in which they want to perform and they want to practice. It will offer continuity of care in every sense, because our patients will be seen in the hospital by our hospitalists. They will be seen as a transitional care visit by us. They will be seen in the urgent care also by our doctors there too. So there's always communication. So the patient is always being cared for in different ways. It means modern technology. It means quick communication. It means quick responses when it comes to diagnostic testing as well. That, because time is golden when it comes to, patient decision and patient care. Generally, in the outpatient setting, it's a pretty calm environment, but you always have those cases in which it's not a calm environment and you need to make quick decisions, and the tools are made available. So I think that allows me to feel solid, to feel backed up. I have the tools that I need, so I don't need to look elsewhere.
Medicine has not changed. How do we diagnose patients has not changed. But how we have to document that has changed. And that part in the value base through the quality team is the importance of those individuals to know all the regulations, all the mechanisms that lead to fulfill that requirement. And so a quality team that is incredibly supportive of what we need. Everybody wrap around the physician and say, this is what you need to do, but we are here to help you. So the quality team, it will warn me, through the EMR, so this integration of technology, integration of knowledge and know-how from the payers, and these regulations change every day, right? So having this team telling me what are the measures that I should be looking in this particular patient, right, is very, very helpful, because I cannot know it all.
Yeah, we're one of the few ACOs in the entire country that has actually been on the shared savings list every year since inception. A part of that's been attributed to really the integration we put into place during the fee-for-service-based world. So we had our own walk-in clinics, had our own hospitalists, had our own lab, had our own imaging. All those things were in the fee-for-service side, tremendous profit opportunities. On the other hand, they became tremendous savings opportunities because we were now able to manage the patients wherever we send them. So the handoffs, as I call them, were clean, and we weren't sending them to a person that we didn't know. Everybody knew where they went, and that actually ended up bringing costs down, while we were actually also being successful in the fee-for-service side. In our case, we're probably one of the few where the savings has actually gone up every year since inception, even though we're growing very, very quickly. So sometimes 30, 40, 50% a year growth, and we're still able to bring our savings rates up, which means that the tools we have in place for the physicians actually work. We can actually bring somebody in, and the training wheels are off almost immediately. They can be successful in this, and which just makes for the long-term partnerships we're trying to build with the doctors.
Our leaders were always at the front, We've heard from them constantly, directly from them in person, through email. We're always updated on what the situation is and how things have changed so many times with the virus, and how we're doing algorithms, and how the diagnosis and the time frame for quarantine and this and that. And we're always refreshed on how to do things. So communication has been really good, The telehealth has been another response in which our telehealth system has been also modified multiple times to try to make it more efficient for the front desk, for the physicians, for the patients to get connected, We've been given the protection that we need as well, and we have the PPE that we need available as well. So at no time I've felt at risk because I did not have the proper equipment to see a patient suspicious for COVID. So all of that has been made available to us.
Navigating the COVID pandemic was really a weird awakening to all of us, because we watched the entire leadership team, the physician leadership, really go into action. And it was impressive to see how we actually managed through this. I think the doctors being comfortable that we were behind them and we're not a company that's going to run away because there's a pandemic really made the difference. And so we were able to help physicians, whether they wanted to come to the office and be protected with PPE, whether they wanted to be at home and see patients via telehealth, you name it, we actually had solutions in place. And the leadership team really came together like I've never seen any leadership team come together and make this happen. Put in perspective, in 2019, we had 0 telehealth visits. In 6 months, we had over 160,000 telehealth visits. So it just shows you how fast you can actually adapt and react when something happens, but the team pulls together. And I think that's what really made this actually kind of an amazing success.